We welcome you to the BCS Spotlight Game presented by ADT. Virginia Tech and Miami, their first year in the ACC, and now they will meet for the title. At the moment, Virginia Tech holds a lead, but they have to win to preserve it. Welcome, everybody. Along with the quarterback, Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. You know the stakes. Winner going to go on probably to the Nokia Sugar Bowl and play there, perhaps Auburn. We'll wait and see. That'll unfold tomorrow. But here, Gary, great athletes, but like they say up at Gulfstream Park, you got to have a jockey.
You know, you're right, Brent. And the more you think about it, it makes sense because you look at both of these defenses. I mean, they've got people on the defensive line, linebacker, and safeties are going to creep up. I don't think either offense will be able to dominate unless the quarterbacks make plays. Brian Randall and Brock Berlin must come through, not just manage this game, but actually affect the outcome of the game. And, you know, they've had it tough. They've lived in the shadows of Michael Vick, Ken Dorsey, but they persevered. And I think they won over their team. And today, with a good game, they can finish it off.
You know, Gary, as you look down on the grand old lady, the Orange Bowl, this stadium has seen it all. From Joe Willie Namath to Doug Flutie, and now another chapter coming up.
How about the left end zone, the enclosed part of the Orange Bowl? These people hear it every game. They are loud, and they know their sport, and they love their Canes, Brent.
All right, Jack. And Virginia Tech will be coming out of that end zone. They'll be moving left to right on your screen. Miami won the coin flip. They deferred, so it will be Virginia Tech ball. The punter, Brian Monroe, to kick it off. And back deep, Eddie Royal. And some of you Hokie fans saw Josh Hyman back there. That's a great sign. Nicked up a knee last week, coming out from the 2-yard line now. Into the middle for Hyman. He looked like he had an alley, but it closed fast at the 22-yard line. Now it is quarterback Brian Randall, that added dimension. And we ask him, what do you do best, Brian?
I say my positives are the fact that I'm a mobile quarterback and I can throw the ball and run the ball. I think that, you know, I've been getting better at standing in the pocket and going through my reads and throwing the ball.
So here they come. You can see the back of Morgan, one of the starting wideouts on first down. You'll see that familiar 4-3 look from the Miami defense. Randall under center. Emo, the bad hamstring, is in at running back. Virginia Tech opens with 2 tight ends, and Randall immediately changes up the call on the first play of the game. Emo on a cutback, gained only about a yard against that front. We look now at the Outback Steakhouse starting lineup. We mentioned Emo. How will the strained hamstring hold up? Coaches say he looked better and better in practice this week. Offensive line a change. Reggie Butler draws a start today. We'll see how he holds up. There's an injury over there on that side.
Actually, Brent, they did go with Jimmy Martin, 52, to start the football game. He must have felt good in warm-ups. He has that high left ankle sprain.
And there he is over at left tackle. Number 52, injured the ankle last week against Virginia. Randall is back in the gun. Inside handoff to Emo. That draw play out of the gun, and the Canes speed simply all over it. Greg Threet, the strong safety, and Roger McIntosh, who is starting at linebacker. Santonio Thomas will play a little bit today, and they hope to get 20 snaps out of him in the defensive line. The linebackers, Romeo Davis, the youngster, but McIntosh was in the starting lineup today.
Emo did not look good. He did not look good. It was the first run against Virginia, and he looked the first run against Miami, and it looked like that hamstring again popped.
Third down and long. You saw a picture of Antrell Roll, a Thorpe finalist in that defensive backfield. Emo is off to the sideline on third down. Nothing doing. The Canes hold the Hokies to negative yardage. McIntosh again worked out with the first unit most of the practice on Thursday and was in the starting lineup here today. Fourth down. And here's a story with the punter. Vinnie Burns is a senior from New Orleans. Focus his daddy, who's in the stands today. He's on the Sugar Bowl committee. You don't think that Pops isn't excited about the prospect of having Vinnie and the Hokies down there. Devin Hester back deep. Now Virginia Tech practiced angle punting all week. They do not want to put it in Hester's hands. Penalty flag. Might have been a false start on it. It is against Hall. He went in motion. Frank Beamer, who coaches the special teams, want to use that to see if he could free Hall as a cover man off that formation, and it backfires on Beamer here on their first 4th down. Now Burns is backed up into his end zone. Low, and it'll be a short field for Brock Berlin. They'll have their first possession from the 50-yard line, and we talked to Brock about last year's 31-7 debacle.
Everyone remembers that game, and so we're taking this thing personal. We want to win this game. We want to come out and finish on a strong note. But we know they're a good football team.
Brock Berlin is in the midst of his best 7-game streak ever as the Hurricane quarterback. Humphrey is his fullback, Gore the running back, against 4 down linemen for the Hokies. There was movement on that defensive front. Play fake on 1st down in the middle, and they've got Humphrey. Now here is quite a story. Humphrey was very highly recruited, and because of injuries was unable to do much for 3 years. As a senior, on the first play of the game, he comes from the fullback spot. It's 24 yards. The defensive front jumped on the play. That's why the penalty flag was thrown. It'll be declined. They'll take the game.
All started from the fullback spot right here. You know it's a zone, and right down the middle the fullback takes it. Humphrey started to emerge in the Virginia game, and play action pass against those inside linebackers. They dominated the Virginia game for Virginia Tech, but you see Miami comes out, play action pass to start the game.
Humphrey now moves out on the wing. Gore is the running back. It'll be Gore behind the wing back on a cutback, searches daylight, crosses the 20-yard line. As our Outback Steakhouse lineups for the Canes. Now, we mentioned Gore and Parrish. What a story they are, folks. Pop Warner teammates and rivals. Went to different high schools down here. Rashad Butler has been filling in for the injured Winston at that left tackle spot over there, doing an excellent job. And this flag that fell is going to go against Miami.
Personal foul. Derek Morse, the guard, freshman guard, came around, got a great block.
Personal foul. Number 70 on the offense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
That's Joe Rodriguez playing in his last game here, the center.
That's where the battle will be, up front. That Virginia Tech front 7 dominated Virginia a week ago when we did that game, but Virginia didn't really affect the linebackers and the safeties with much play action passes. Miami seems intent on play action passing early in this football game.
Referee Ron Cherry making sure that the ball is spotted back at the 41-yard line, where it will be 1st and 25.
Yeah, that a huge penalty, because that was basically a 1st down on the play, and ends up being, 25, almost a 30-yard penalty on that play.
Just grabbed momentum right by the throat and threw it down after those 2 crisp Cane plays. So Berlin goes back into the shotgun. Drops it off in the flat. And Leggett, the freshman, is down to the 35-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down. This the Hokie defense. Darryl Tapp, you know the story. Outstanding young defensive end. Brothers serving his country over in Iraq. Vince Hall had a fine game a week ago up in Blacksburg. Hard-hitting linebacker. Jimmy Williams, the junior back there, switched from safety to corner, and he's one of the best in the ACC. 2nd down, Leggett still off to the right. Parrish is in the slot to Berlin's left. Comes back right and incomplete. It was broken up on that side by Melkobaki. the senior from Columbia, Maryland, who had dropped back on the wideout.
Yeah, middle linebacker. You can see Virginia Tech stays with the zone. Bakke starts right over the center and reads Berlin's eyes, get out underneath a comeback. How about that? You talk about people that can run for this Virginia Tech defense. Middle linebacker knocking down a comeback pass to the outside.
Third down, and the first down marker is up by the 16-yard line for Berlin. Linebacker blitz. Berlin in trouble. Hall's got him from behind. Picked up by a Hokie. If that's a fumble, they've got it right there on the 42. It's an incomplete pass is what it's ruled.
Boy, Vince Hall was very close to snatching that ball out of Berlin's hand, but his arm was coming forward. Frank Gore stepped up and just labeled the blitz, but good coverage. Watch number 3 come in, take one. Oh, just right in the mouth. And then Hall chases Berlin. Well, his hand was not coming forward. That one could have been called back. We did a lot of games in the Big Ten this year, my friend, and that one would have been one that we could have looked at again.
Absolutely. And John Petty is going to come on here and attempt a long field goal. It's a 52-yarder. That would be his career long. It's a pooch punt, so Petty will pooch it right out of there.
Oh, break.
And it's inside the 10-yard line. Down at the 9. So a battle of the special teams in this ACC title game, and the first check mark goes to the Canes. Gary, you're convinced this was a fumble.
Absolutely. His hand was going back. Slow motion helps, no doubt about that. Starts to go back, does not go forward at all. Brock does a good job of following through, and in full speed, that kind of mesmerized the official on the play.
Cost them 30 yards in field position for Virginia Tech. They now must come out from the shadow of their own goal line, and Emo is back on the field. Nothing doing. And so, Jack, that the hamstring, is it bothering him? Is that the situation?
Yes, indeed it is, Brent. And remember, Mike Emo in this hot weather thought that it was going to be a little easier to loosen up. He is wearing a long rubber sleeve to try and contain that hamstring strain, but he leaves the game again. Talking to Billy Height before the game, this is not what they wanted. They will turn to Humes, but they really had counted on Emo today.
Yeah, Cedric Humes, number 32, folks, is the running back. He is directly behind Randall in a deep I formation. Randall's going to throw to the middle, complete. Picks up his tight end out to the 29-yard line. That's Jared Mazzetta. He's a senior from Flemington, New Jersey, and that's 22 yards.
This is really how you have to play this Miami defense. Mazzetta, a king. The other tight end's going to go here. Mazzetta goes over there. A very, very simple play, but you have to control these linebackers. Look at the downhill of the linebackers for Miami. You cannot let them zero in on your running game. You must play action pass to win.
Roll goes over on the slot receiver Morgan on this 1st and 10. Beeson, the linebacker, up on the line, says that Mazzetta moved on him. He pointed right at him.
When Miami puts their linebackers out wide, they are coming.
5-yard penalty.
Beeson stepped up, and Mazzetta recognized it, and he flinched a little bit and picked up the penalty, so it will be 1st and 15.
Yeah, Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator for Frank right there, has told his team all week, when those linebackers move wide, they're not trying to fool us. They're coming.
Now Williams, one of the linebackers, and again a shift, and Beeson is off the line this time. Randall in trouble, gets a block, and can't get out of it. And he's down at the 19-yard line, taking another loss.
Let's look about what each of these teams need to do. I think both need to run the ball, and to do that, they have to put a little play-action pass. Win 4th down. That's a little different, but that means the special teams cannot go to the other side, and yards after catch. Those receivers for both teams are young and talented, and both secondaries must tackle well in this one.
And now Hester checks in as the nickelback, number 4 for Miami, is on the field. Antrell Roll is number 6 if you want to watch two of the best. Roll has identified the slot, and they'll come back to the tight end King at the 30-yard line, so they get it back Well, to about a 3rd and 9, a workable 3rd and 9 as they use the tight end again. And those of you who are familiar with Frank Beamer, of course, through the years, he has used the tight end in his offense.
And Jeff King has kind of won him over with this job. He's a big old blocking tight end when he came here, and then kind of moved into being a clutch receiver and puts this situation in a possibility of picking it up.
Greg Threet is the free safety. He's back in center field for the Canes. Randall moves the pocket over to the left. Sideline deflected, incomplete. It was off Roll's fingers. Hester was the defensive back working on that far side of the field. So great Miami speed over there with coverage.
When you try to run your comebacks 1 yard past the first down, the defense says, I know what you're doing. See the first down marker right there? Hester says, I'm not going to let you go 1 yard past, and almost pop that ball off for a turnover.
There's Devin Hester now, and we'll see. Last time they punted short, Vinnie Burns did. Ball was rolled dead. They're determined not to give him a chance. He's got great speed. He's one of the more dangerous return men in the country. Hester.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's a great punt out of bounds. He dropped one down inside the 20. What a beautiful punt that was. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months on American Revolution. IBM, making on-demand business a reality for companies around the world. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. The Hartford Mutual Fund's official corporate partner of the NCAA. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. You look out at some of the folks playing out there in the ocean. It's a great day. Temperature, we are told, is in the 70s here in the Orange Bowl. Hurricane season ended the first of the month, and every resident of this state is thankful for that. First down now for Miami, and it's Frank Gore from Coral Gables. Daylight on the right side, out to the 23-yard line. You know, we asked Coach Coker about regrouping after losing 2 games in a row.
Obviously, when you lose, everything becomes magnified, and I think we got back to basics. We got back with our team, so we wanted to make sure to not lose our team because, we felt like we had some good players here, and we felt like if we could get readjusted and back on course, that we'd end up having a good year.
Second down and short for Coker, who has done just an outstanding job down here in South Florida with this Cane program. Very unassuming man. Berlin. Hit on the release, got it complete. First down using Humphrey for his second reception of the game. And he is out to the 41-yard line. Just one of those wonderful stories of a young man who looked like his football career was over because of an assortment of injuries, but he hangs in.
Brent, give it to the coordinator on this one. This is an unbalanced line this way. You see this is a tackle right here. You put a little motion on, and that confused the Virginia Tech defense. The fullback is able to get outside the defense, and by a formation from Dan Werner, offensive coordinator, you could see that Brock Berlin had an easy throw just before Tapp got him.
Moss checks in as one of the wideouts. He and Parrish are bunched with the tight end Everett. Berlin looks bunched as they split out, deflected, incomplete, and it'll be second down and 10.
Little miscommunication that time from Moss and Berlin. That's what was happening early here. The young receivers and the quarterback were not on the same page. That time, Moss came inside. Berlin threw it to a spot, and he was very fortunate that ball wasn't picked off.
What a difference a year has made. Check the interceptions. A year ago through 10 games, 14 interceptions, and he was being blasted by fans and media. Now 21-4. He's up for Player of the Year in the ACC. This the championship game. BCS Bowl on the line. Toss play with Gore. Picks his way for about a yard. Well, a reminder that Monday Night Football is at 9 Eastern Time out for the Great Northwest. What about the Seahawks? Can they get it back together? They'll be taking on the Cowboys and Vinny Testaverde. Folks, take a look at the numbers. This is the year that Vinny won the Heisman here at Miami, 1987. Note the yards, 25-57. He'll go into tomorrow night with 25 and 6 yards, but Benny would like to cut down the interceptions for Bill Parcells. Parcells a no-nonsense guy when it comes to turnovers. 3rd down and long. Brock Berlin back in the shotgun. Hokies show 4 down linemen. Parrish is the motion receiver. Pump fake. Came back to Moore for a 1st down at the 44. Another of the Canes getting healthier and healthier as the season progresses. That was one of the stories as to why they lost 2 in a row. They simply were young and they were not healthy.
Zone defense that time by Virginia Tech. Moore, who had early drops this year and lost his job, fought through injuries and worked his way back. Remember, a year ago against Virginia Tech, he caught 7 balls for over 100 yards in that loss to Virginia Tech.
Moss in the slot to Berlin's right. Gore the lone running back. 2 tight ends. Ortega has replaced the injured Greg Olson, and Gore slams into the middle of that defensive front, which is a very stout front. And Jack, you couldn't be happier for someone than Brock Berlin, the way he kept his head up in this program and never let anything get him down.
No, and Brent, he did one thing that was extra special in trying to turn his season around. After the Houston game, he and his wide receivers would break after every practice and spend an additional 30 minutes simply running patterns, simply tossing the ball, getting their timing down, getting their chemistry together. And now it seems to work out.
Now Berlin is under center. Play fake. Running away from Lewis in a foot race, and he'll toss it away. Let's go back on that story about not quitting despite, and believe me, he must have felt like a professional quarterback the way the criticism was raining down on him, and we asked him about keeping his head up during that troubled time.
I never lost confidence about anything. I just knew that you just got to keep on fighting, and at some point this thing's going to happen, and you just can't give up. And that's something that I was proud of myself for sticking with this thing and able to pull it out.
Indeed he is, and some NFL team will take a look at him. He's obviously not the prototype 1st-round draft choice, not going to be drafted first, but he'll get a long look in the NFL somewhere. A tough hombre. Steps away from trouble, fires back middle, complete. Close to the 1st down marker, appeared to be just a little bit short, and using the tight end, Everett, as his receiver that time.
Brock is very comfortable moving around in the pocket. That was one of his strengths when he came out of high school, when he played for Florida, even in his struggling years, as Brent talked about last year. He was comfortable in the shotgun and moving around throwing, and that Kevin Everett came back, caught that ball just short of the 1st down.
Now let's see if he just keeps it and goes right straight ahead on 4th and
I think there's only
here.
10 men out there. Frank Gore is not, and now he's running out late. They're going to have to take a timeout.
So it cost them a timeout. Obviously, it was not a running back who was due to carry it, folks. We'll be right back.
The road to the BCS is presented by Russell Athletic. On November 13th, the Miami Hurricanes defeated the Virginia Cavaliers in a battle for ACC supremacy. Running back Frank Gore scored this touchdown and totaled 195 yards. And wide receiver Roscoe Parrish returned a punt for a score and caught this game-clinching touchdown to give the Hurricanes the victory.
Get into the game with Enhanced TV. Play along. Get up to the minute stats, vote in polls. Enhanced TV is live now at ESPN.com. And, of course, all the latest scores. The cruise boats getting ready down here on the weekend to go on out. It'll be a great place to watch a football game down there. Now it's 4th and just inches. Humphrey is back in as the fullback. Brock right behind Rodriguez. Rodriguez checks to his left. Play fake. They're going to throw for it. Berlin goes deep. Intercepted. Picked off by Eric Green, the senior from Clewiston, Florida.
That's a great play, but a strategic mistake. That ball would have come back out to the 4th. If he would have knocked that ball down, he would have gained an extra. I thought on this play the safeties were deep for Virginia Tech. Miami was going deep, but double coverage. They were ready for it. Now, knock it down. You got to know 4th down. He catches that ball. It costs them 20 yards. That was a big gamble for Miami, 4th and inches.
And through to double coverage that time.
The look was not there.
But they're down on the 20-yard line. And that is the first interception Brock has thrown in 163 consecutive passes. So that streak comes to an end. But the Hokies must work coming out from their own 20-yard line. Royal is the motion. Here's Randall with that option look, keeping it all the way. So it is the running quarterback who picks up 9 yards, and that's that added dimension as Brock Berlin going over that throw he'd love to have back.
You know, Brent, there's really not much else Brock Berlin could have done. It was a one-man route, only one guy in the play. No one else to throw to. It's 4th down. He has nothing else to do but put it up and hope something good happens. That's really, I'm telling Brock Berlin, don't worry about that one. That's on the call. That's not on you.
Humes for the first down. And he is stood up at the 36-yard line by Antrell Roll, the senior from right down the road at Homestead. Of course, at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution each University's General Scholarship Fund. Antrell Roll, folks, he could have gone out last year and probably have been a first-round draft choice. That would have given the Canes, I believe, 7 first-round picks. Instead, he came back, and he's on the verge of winning the Thorpe. He's a finalist. He's going to be a major candidate for that award, and he figures now to be perhaps a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He is a playmaker and a sensational cover corner. Humes is hit in the backfield. Can't get off the mark by Orion Harris, the junior from Newark, Delaware.
Another one of those guys from that class of 01. It was the handoff class. Antron Roll, and you could see Orion Harris just beats the block inside. Sean Taylor, Will Fork. I mean, there's just guys all over this field. Frank Gore, that were part of that class of 01 when Butch Davis left, and Larry Coker saved that class. Remember, they looked at Barry Alvarez. Barry Alvarez stayed at Wisconsin, and Larry Coker kept it together.
McIntosh back in as linebacker. 2nd down and long, and Randall's going to call timeout. There's the snap. Did he get the timeout?
Yes, he did.
He got it. He called timeout, and he got it, according to Cherry. The center did not know that Randall was calling timeout, and he put it up for grabs. But the referee, Cherry, had detected Randall calling time, and so the Hokies escaped.
Watch Brian Randall.
Here.
He gives the foot play and then turns around, time it. Very smart. You always turn around and go to the referee. That's the guy you got to turn around and do it with. He's the one in charge.
Well, the fine aerial coverage today on this gorgeous day in Miami is the Outback Steakhouse Airship Bloomin' Onion 1. The Outback Steakhouse Airship specializes in college football and PGA golf coverage. So look for the Bloomin' Onion at sporting events throughout the year.
You just get the feeling this game is just teetering. You know, who's going to bust a play? Who's going to make a big play? There's potential all over. It looks like both defensive lines are tough to handle.
Well, I tell you, the Hokies travel well. If they win and go down to New Orleans, they'll jam Bourbon Street. Miami, of course, wants to go back. An interesting situation for the loser. The loser goes to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, where they will play Florida. And we understand that Ron Zook is going to coach the Gators, and that Urban Meyer will coach Utah in the bowl game. At least that was what was coming out of the story of Urban. And how about that? Urban Meyer taking the Gator coaching job for excess of $2 million a year, turning down Notre Dame. Gary, I know you and I were just shocked when we heard that news.
Yeah, for a long time I thought this was a done deal. Nothing's done in college football anymore, I'll tell you that.
Isn't that the truth?
Stand by for the BCS too, right?
Absolutely. We've never had this day pass without something unexpected happening, and the favorites are big favorites today in the games. This one rated rather close. The Miami Hurricanes were only a touchdown favorite, and I dare say that Virginia Tech would probably be favored at home by 3 or 4 in this match, but the Canes are given great respect when they play here in the Orange Bowl.
Offside, 98 defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Baraka Atkins, a sophomore out of Sarasota.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wherever this game was, that'd probably been the team that had the best chance to win it. But you know what? You just look at Virginia Tech here. Their athletes look just like the Miami athletes. You switch jerseys on these teams, I don't think you notice any drop-off in talent. Couple guys, but most of these players probably could play for the other team.
Harper and Clowney are off to the left. Johnson and Morgan are off to the right, so there are 4 wideouts for 2nd and long, and the Hokies. Roll can't get there. He's picked up. Complete. A first down to the 38-yard line. David Clowney, the sophomore from right up the road at Delray Beach, Florida. And that's their best gain of the day, 25 yards.
Antron Roll was blitzing off the corner that time. Picked up beautifully. You can see it. One guy comes off one side. Roll came off the bottom. Great protection for Brian Randall. And he waits and he waits and he makes a strike to Clowney. And Clowney gets yards after catch, something I think is going to be big in this football game. Both teams have good athletes at the wide receivers, and if you don't wrap them up, they'll make a small play into a big play.
Back to the 2 tight end look. And that time the tight end was very helpful against Roll as he was trying to blitz, which he frequently does from that slot formation look, which draws the corner in closer to the line of scrimmage. It is a look that caused Florida State all kinds of problems in that season opener here in the Orange Bowl. And that time Virginia Tech picked it up beautifully.
Murphy was hurt on the play. Yes, Murphy. No, what happened on this play, I think, Brent, is right away the trainer ran on the field for Murphy because he laid there. Once the trainer comes off, the player has to go out for at least one play.
So Mazzetta and King are the 2 tight ends, bookend the offensive line. First down and 10, ball across the 40. Best field position for the Hokies here on first down. Play fake. Randall put it up on first down, and it's Clowney again. Very close to that first down marker. We'll see where they get the spot. It's either 9 or 10 yards. We'll sort that out, and we'll check in with John. John, what's happening with Pittsburgh? I know they're driving to a BCS Bowl.
Brent, here in the Taco Bell update, you're absolutely right. They know if they beat South Florida today, by the way, a team that'll be in the conference next year, that they would be going to the BCS. Tyler Palco, remember he had 5 touchdown passes against Notre Dame? That's number 5 on the day here to Eric Gill, covered 80 yards. Pittsburgh is rolling into the BCS. Brent.
John, I know all the talking heads are going to tee off on Pittsburgh and the Big East getting the automatic, and I can understand it. I'm not belittling him. I'm not putting him down. I know where that's coming from. But I do want to say this, that Pittsburgh is an improving football team. Now, are they better than Texas? No, I wouldn't say that. Texas would be favored over. But I'm here to tell you that Pittsburgh is no longer a pushover. Walt Harris has improved the young quarterback. The passing game is a little bit shorthanded. Lee is their major weapon out deep. But whoever plays them, and it is possible it's going to be Utah out in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, they are in for a football game. Make no mistake of that. And Clowney just caught 2 balls, Jack.
And he had 2 scholarship offers. Both of them were to Georgia and to Florida State, but not to play football. And then just before the 11th hour, Vodtech called and offered him a football scholarship.
Now it's Vodtech powering ahead with Humes, and he breaks it, and they go to the red zone. 1st and 10. So 5 seconds remaining, and then it will be tough on the Hokies to change plays at the line of scrimmage when we start that second quarter, because they'll be going into the closed end. So here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, the Orange Bowl in Miami. This is for the ACC Championship. Back with the second quarter. Can Vodtech keep it going? We'll find out after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
ABC Sports welcomes you back to this week's BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT.
We start the second quarter. This is the battle for the ACC Championship in a BCS Bowl, probably in New Orleans at the Nokia Sugar Bowl. 1st down and 10 as we turn it around now for the Hokies. Emo unable to go, still bothered by that tender hamstring. Humes will open up. He gets the first carry. Daylight on the left side. The Canes don't seal it up, and he pounds down inside the 10-yard line.
I'll tell you, those 2 big tight ends are doing the job.
Now here is their touchdown percentage, Gary, as we see in the red zone. And it's a 51%.
Yeah.
How does that rank in college? What's that
That
like?
would be a little low, I think. You probably want to be in college about 60% at least. I don't know why it's low. Maybe they're playing good teams this year. It came on a little slow, but they have not popped it in enough.
So as Gary pointed out, those two tight ends are doing a great job. Here's Humes into the middle that time. Gary, let me take you back to the fourth down and inches, because I thought the way you diagrammed the play was really interesting. Would they have been better off sending a second receiver off to the left? Tell me about how you.
I thought they should have delayed a tight end or slipped the fullback out there. It was an all or nothing play, and I thought Brock Berlin could have helped a little bit. You know, when he looked up and saw the safety deep, I think he should have just taken another timeout. Maybe not the second half, but the first half, they needed to get out of that
Play
play.
fake. Randall with time. Strikes to the right. Can't find an open man. Keeps it. Dives. Pylon. And he was just out of bounds, apparently, as he was reaching for the pylon, extending for it on that far side.
Well, that was a magician. That was Donovan McNabb-like. Watch him come out, tries to get the ball to the tight end, beats two Miami defenders. Watch him with the pump fake, beat two guys right here. Whoop, gets outside, and he steps out, I think, with his right foot before he reaches it out. Left foot, actually. Before he reaches out, his left foot stepped out of the 3-yard line. Great call by the official right there, because you see the football was inside that marker right there.
Curious 3rd and goal.
3 tight ends in the game.
And Randall's looking for one. Got it. Touchdown, King. They lined him up as a wingback. They brought the 3rd tight end into the game, and they lined up King as a wingback right behind him, and Randall was looking for him all the way.
Nice little pick play right here. Watch, this tight end will come out right there. The tight end will come out behind him. Watch this. Nice little pick play. Run one guy out, block off, come right underneath it. See, 3 gets hit right down there, and then King jumps inside. Nice play.
Now Brandon Pace for the extra point. Tacks it on. And just like that, Virginia Tech, after thwarting a 4th and inches gamble, drives 80 yards, and now they lead it by 7. Our Nissan Drive summary. And so redshirt junior Jeff King, 6'5", 263 games. And he had a big game against USC, folks. He caught 4 passes for 65 yards as Va Tech came at the Trojans, and before USC pulled away. And of course, the Trojans are on the brink of playing for the BCS title right up the road in the FedEx Orange Bowl. They must take care of business against UCLA, and they're almost certain to be one of the teams. DeValley with the ball on the tee now. And Gary, what's your point about Brian Randall, how he's playing?
Well, I tell you, he's been in control of the game. You can see it when he gets the rush. He moves around, and he's been very accurate. The play action game has been huge so far for Virginia Tech.
Jenkins is back with Hester, and they put it in Hester's hands at the 10. Slips up, and he's down at the 25-yard line. Brock Berlin will come. All right, folks, you all know Beamer Ball, and it's time for this week's Aflac trivia question. Under Frank Beamer now, when was the last season Virginia Tech did not block a kick? You history majors up in Blacksburg, you're all over that one. 1st down and 10. There he is.
Frank Beamer will have to substitute. It may not be a 95-degree day here, but it is still warm enough to affect his players.
Humphrey is lined up and sort of stutter steps over in motion. They'll run Gore behind him in that direction. Gore to the 29-yard line. Virginia Tech and Miami. This is their first year in the ACC. Next year they'll be joined by Boston College. They will split the conference into 2 divisions. They will play for a championship at the end of the regular season. But how about this winding up? It's a de facto title game as Miami and Virginia Tech scheduled for television reasons as the last game of the regular season. And they wind up playing for the BCS bid and ACC championship. Brock Berlin on a play fake. Fires in underneath, that time to the fullback Humphrey, who has 3 catches. And I'm reminded that Humphrey's girlfriend is Lauren Williams, folks. You talk about, now here's a football player whose girlfriend can outrun him. She was a silver medalist in the 100 meters in the Athens Olympics. I mean, it's not even close if you lined them up for 40 yards. See ya.
Probably can't say that for a lot of girlfriends of Canes, can you?
For sure.
Nice play by Aaron Roos that time, number 36. Another zone look for Bud Foster. Not a lot of man-to-man matchups in this game.
Leggett, the freshman, 3 wide. Moss is down to the right now for Berlin. Incomplete.
Busted.
He tight end,
busted.
and it was a busted play. Everett was the intended receiver on that play, and it'll be a punting time. And folks, here comes Beamer ball.
The coverages for Virginia Tech look simple. Even to me, they look simple. But you know, Bud Foster has a scheme that right now is affecting the reads of Brock Berlin.
Monroe is the punter. Does get it off under pressure. Johnson, the freshman, fields it back at the 27-yard line. Terrific coverage by the Canes. Hester and Roll down on top of him.
And welcome back to our college football studios in New York. We have technical difficulties at this ACC matchup, which basically is for the ACC championship. John Saunders. Audio at the game. We'll get back with Brent Musburger in a moment. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing him right now.
And remember, the score is now tied at 7. The studio probably kept you up to date with that. We didn't have any power back there, but the fumble just moments ago was recovered by Miami. So with the game tied, the ball is back inside the 20-yard line, and it is 1st and 10 for the Canes, and there was movement down. Now let me take you back and get you up to date on what you missed. When you left, Virginia Tech had the football as we went start here. They went 3 and out. Then it was Miami that blocked the punt. Anthony Reddick, the freshman from Fort Lauderdale, blocked it. They got it at the 14-yard line, the Canes did. Tyrone Moss carried it 4 consecutive times. The last time into the end zone. Petty kicked the extra point to deadlock it at 7. You came back now just after Virginia Tech turned it over with a fumble. It was Javon Nanton who forced the fumble, and Leon Williams, number 44, recovered it. And now we are back. 1st down and 15, tied at 7 in the decisive game in the ACC Conference. Miami with the football on a play fake by Brock Berlin. Rolls right. Receivers covered. Fumble. And Va Tech gets it back at the 27-yard line. Berlin's 2nd turnover of the day.
Well, those 2 fumbles by the quarterbacks were almost mirror images of each other. Nanton gets Brian Randall, and then coming from the outside, a nice play by James Anderson, who chases down Brock Berlin. Watch Anderson, comes in, hits it from behind, snap, comes around, whacks the right arm of Brock Berlin, pops loose, and Burchett comes up with the fumble. All year, Miami has not gotten the ball on offense to start a drive inside the 20 all year. On back-to-back drives, they get the ball back inside the 20, score once, come up with nothing the second time.
Now it is Randall coming out for the 28, and Humes pounds to the 33-yard line. Now, the Comcast folks had the block punt by Reddick, so we were able quickly to move over and bring it into the tape room. So that was the blocked punt right there. Then it was Moss quickly slashing in behind the left side of the Canes offensive line. And that's where we are right now. We are tied at 7. This is 2nd down and 5. We have 6:44 to go in the first half. Humes stopped just shy of the 35-yard line, so it will bring up about a 3rd and 4.
It was Cedric Humes, who plays on the punt team, also the starting tailback, now that Emo's out of the football game, that missed the block on Reddick that caused that turnover. Humes was on the wing. He just gave Reddick a light push, and Reddick came right around the corner. That familiar number 26 that Sean Taylor made so famous here, the 1st-round draft pick now with the Redskins, is given to the young freshman who Randy Shannon told me is a playmaker.
Randall wants to change it up, and he'll use a timeout. Virginia Tech 7, Miami 7, the championship game of the ACC.
Here's today's BizHub Fan Scan, brought to you by Konica Minolta.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan. Everything we touch, we shift, and everything we shift, we try to make better. Gap, how do you share it? Aflac, ask about it at work. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Look down on the beach over there in the background here on a gorgeous day in Miami. 7-7, third down for Randall and the Hokies. Randall going to throw for it, got Clowney again for a first down out of bounds on the Canes sideline across the 40-yard line.
Miami again really gives Brian Randall like a signal. We're coming. Okay, you got to have great players to really let the other quarterback know exactly what's going to happen. You see it. Here's a linebacker right here. Here's a guy right there. You know they're coming from the outside. Brian Randall knows they're coming. He says, quick fake, and I got Clowney out in the flat. Good protection inside, and Clowney comes up with another catch. He's been the emerging receiver in this game. That's his third one.
The 3 tight end formation.
Here they come again.
Scored a touchdown off of it. The Hokies did. Hume steps outside the left side, and not much there. Reddick closing with the linebacker Williams. And our Pacific Life game summary here, Gary.
Yeah, it was a fourth down play, turnover. We said fourth down was going to be key, and then a turnover on a fumble. We've had a blocked punt and a fumble by Brian Randall. 1 touchdown to the tight end, and Miami turned the next blocked punt into a touchdown by Moss.
Morgan is slotted. Harper in motion through the formation, and flag prior to the snap.
I tell you, there have been more false starts than I can believe early in a football game.
Well, we gave you the Aflac question. Under Frank Beamer, when was the last season Virginia Tech did not block a kick? Never. 18 seasons, 104 block kicks. But folks, the story of this game is the fact that Beamer has given up a blocked punt with that new alignment that he is featuring, trying to get gunners downfield to protect against the Canes' return. Miami took a couple of looks at it, and Reddick able to block the last punt. Beamer's been talking to Hall, and here on a slash back is Humes. Daylight, first down across midfield. Strong run by Cedric Humes, the junior from Virginia Beach. 16 more yards.
Really gambling here. They're going to come with the blitz again. Both safeties are coming up. You get one key block, and there's no second level defense. You get any running back to the second level, and the linebackers are blitzing. The perfect call for Virginia Tech. Brian Steinstring did a perfect call on that play, and it's been blitz by Randy Shannon's defense for Miami.
131 total yards for Virginia Tech, 95 for Miami here in the first half.
Coming again.
And Humes again. They show the end around look with Royal. Come hard behind the right side of the line, and so it looks like it's up to Humes here, Jack.
Yeah, Brenton, remember, Cedric Humes is battling back from a bunch of nagging injuries that kept him sidelined and gave Mike Emo the spotlight throughout the course of the season. But I talked to the coaches, and they said about 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden it was like that cartoon character. A light bulb went on in Cedric Humes' head. He realized that he wasn't going to see the other shoe drop and get injured again. They say now he's playing at 100% mentally and physically.
Taking a breather here. Hamilton, number 27, is the running back. Play fake now by Randall. Fires middle. Picked off by Clowney, short of the 30-yard line, and Vatek threatening.
What a catch by Clowney on that one. That is the toughest catch for a receiver, Brent. A very short throw, a little quick stop, 5-yard route, and not an accurate. It was thrown like a bullet. Oh, way away from him. Look at that, grabbing that football, and then Yards after catch again. Not accurate. You throw those short ones high, those often get deflected and picked off. Clowney, beautiful catch.
Hyman, who scored twice against Virginia, is in the slot to the left. And back they come with Hamilton, just short of the 25-yard line on first down.
You know, that Miami defensive line wins a couple battles, and then all of a sudden that Virginia Tech line starts to gain control again, pounding. When you got Brian Randall, who can give you a little bit of threat as a running back there, it's easy to pound. You know, Brent, you say the Beamer ball. Beamer ball to me means hard-nosed defense, big play special teams, and efficient offense. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, efficient offense.
Second down for senior Brian Randall. Here is Hamilton sprinting over to the left and very close to the first down. Let's take a closer look at Brian Randall, the senior from Williamsburg, Virginia.
My favorite sports team is the Pittsburgh Steelers because my mother's from Pittsburgh. My favorite actor is Jamie Foxx because he's a talented musician and comedian. My favorite food is my mother's fried chicken. If I wasn't playing football, the sport I'd be playing is basketball.
Last year he played on the Hokie basketball team. He will not this year as he prepares for the NFL Combine. First and 10 at the 21-yard line, and Humes back in now as the running back. Here's Humes, and that time the linebackers. Gary, in watching the success of this two tight end formation and frequently three being used by Beamer and his assistant coaches, you're reminded of the defensive talent lost by Miami to the National Football League. It is much easier moving against freshmen and redshirt freshmen and sophomore linebackers than it was against Vilma and friends. That
DJ
was a
Williams,
different look back there.
And Vince Woolfolk in the middle that really stopped up that run game.
6 first-round draft choices last year.
It's safeties up tight. There's the two safeties right there. They are challenging again.
Here they come. Randall's sacked at the 28-yard line by Anthony Reddick, the freshman from up the road in Fort Lauderdale. Moved into the starting lineup a few weeks back, has blocked a punt, and now comes up with a sack.
Wanted to go to the tight end. He's covered by the safety this watch. Watch Jeff King. I think he's out of gas. He's played a lot of plays. Randall wants to throw to him, but by the time he gets the ball to him, King has not even turned around and looked for it yet, and Brian Randall had to take the sack.
Now going to make even a field goal attempt here in the final minute of the first half a lot more difficult. This is third down and a bunch now for Randall.
Boy, here they come again.
Reddick. Randall steps away into the arms of the defensive lineman who throws him down, and it will be fourth down. Reddick was on the move again, and Atkins makes the stop as Randall has to step up away from the safety. And of course, coming up with the Capital One halftime show, John and the gang will have highlights from that Pittsburgh game. They'll take a look at the BCS situation as it stands right now.
I'd say on 35, Virginia Tech has run 35 offensive plays. I'll bet 25 of them have been blitzes by Miami.
They're going to run the clock down here before they attempt this field goal. They take it down with 4 seconds, and they'll call timeout. Brandon Pace, the sophomore from Virginia Beach, is going to come on here to attempt the long field goal. Let's check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brent, we asked both teams to give us their signature play that characterizes this series. Miami Hurricanes said that it goes back to the year 2000. It was a 42-yard TD pass from Ken Dorsey to Santana Moss on Miami's first series of the game. Back then, Tech was number 2 and Miami was number 3 going into the game. And Tech had won 19 straight Big East contests. Miami went on and won 41-21.
And of course, Jack, Santana's younger brother, Sonorous Moss, junior here now, is playing in this game and wearing number 83. We understand that Santana with the Jets in his locker room has got a picture of his brother with that big game-changing play against Florida State. And underneath it, he penciled "My Hero." Santana, just an outstanding NFL receiver. We'll see if Sonorous can join him on Sunday afternoon. And Brandon Pace gets ready here. He's been pretty efficient for Virginia Tech this year, not necessarily with the long field goals. And there is a look at it, and you can see beyond the 40-yard mark. He doesn't attempt too many long ones, and this one's 45 yards now into the closed end. For the lead at the intermission. On its way. Got it. Brandon Pace. A 45-yard field goal as time runs out. And Jack is down below with Coach Coker.
Pretty much what you expected, Coach, back and forth?
Yeah, really a tough football game. We had a big play in special teams, and again, we had an opportunity, didn't take advantage of it. We fumbled it back. It's a great football game, and they're doing a great job, and we got to respond second half, especially offensively.
Thanks, Coach.
10-7. Virginia Tech leads it. And we send you to John and the gang in New York. It's 10-7. The Hokies leading the Hurricanes here in the battle for ACC supremacy. Our Pacific Life stats from the first half will show you that Virginia Tech dominated the game offensively, 149-95 total yards. And then out of whack. Well, folks, we always rave about Beamer Ball and what he does on punts and field goals, but it was Miami blocking a punt, and of course that set up the touchdown. Jack?
Well, I was in the locker room for Virginia Tech Hokies, and over the entrance to the locker room, Brent, is the ACC preseason rankings. Miami is ranked by the College Sporting News as #1. Back in 8th was Virginia Tech. Those were the only two names exposed, and underneath it said, "Respect today, you must earn it." That was the focus during the halftime speech. Frank Beamer took care of business like he normally does, going over things, and then he explained to his players, you've got 30 minutes to validate all that weightlifting and everything you did, and he said, when we win, we'll rock and roll on the plane back to Blacksburg.
You were impressed by the Tech defense.
I really was. They didn't take a step back. Miami has great deep threats to the receiver. Miami has hit a deep ball, and they have not effectively run the ball. That's why they're still in the football game.
So we shall see what unfolds here in the second half if Brock Berlin can get the ball deep against this secondary.
Yeah, Brock Berlin is a second-half quarterback. We've seen that over and over in his career.
And we're going to have someone who's very familiar with Brock Berlin going to join us here in just a moment. That, of course, is the new head coach at South Carolina, Steve Spurrier, who recruited Brock when he was a high school sensation back in Louisiana. And coming out now is Hester, looking for an alley on the right to the 34-yard line. Now, playing for Steve back in the 2002 Sugar Bowl against Maryland, Brock Berlin started that day and went 11 for 19 for 196 yards, and he threw a 46-yard touchdown pass to Taylor Jacobs. Florida pounded Maryland in that game, 56-23. And Steve, we welcome you, and it must be kind of interesting to watch Brock Berlin playing for the Hurricanes here.
Well, I've been watching him for about 2 years now, Brent, and Brock's a very good player, and like all of you guys have said, I think he operates a little bit better out of the shotgun. That's what he did in high school, and I believe he's a little bit better throwing out of that position than underneath.
They hand it off to Gore on first down, and he's just short of the 40. Steve, a question. I know that South Carolina is not going to a bowl game. You're a new coach in that setting. Coaches who have been around the program, they like to go to the bowls because they like that practice period. What about someone taking over like you are? Is it an advantage that you can go through all the tapes and see your personnel, or would you prefer that South Carolina be in a bowl game right now?
Well, I wish, of course, there had not been a fight and that both teams were in a bowl game, but unfortunately that happened, and the commissioners, the athletic directors, and the presidents thought it was best that neither team participate, so I definitely support the decision they made. But, you know, you need to get a staff in. I've had some extra time to put together a staff, although I'm not finished yet. So, you know, there's two ways to look at it. You can practice or you can go out and get the best coaches you can possibly find. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Tap with the sack for Tech. We've got an injured Hurricane lineman down. Gary?
Yeah, Steve, good to have you back in college football. Let me ask you a little X and O's. Are we going to see the old fun and gun, or are you going to take some of your ideas from the NFL and bring them back?
Well, I don't know if I had too many good ideas in the NFL, Gary. But, no, we're going to try to do what we're capable. Obviously, all coaches try to coach to the talent level of their team. I'm not sure how good we are throwing. I know we have one of the outstanding receivers in college football, Troy Williamson. If we get him to come back for his final season, that's our first recruit right there that we're trying to convince to stay. But I think we've got a good nucleus of players here, but we need to add to it. We need to recruit well. If we can do that, hopefully we've got a plan that can lead South Carolina to conference championship. That's our big goal right here.
Here is 3rd down and long for the Canes, and Steve told you that Brock is a more efficient back in the shotgun. He'll line up in that formation with 4 wide. Needs to reach the 45-yard line for the first down. Incomplete, and they'll be forced to punt. And finally, Steve, I can't let you go. What's your thoughts about Urban Meyer's contract in Gainesville?
Oh, that's the going rate nowadays. You got to give that guy credit. He's had 4 fantastic seasons in a row at 2 different schools. So when you're hot, as they say, Brent.
Yeah, that's exactly
he's hot right now. So yeah, that's the going rate. He probably could have got more if he'd kept those 2 schools bidding against each other.
Steve, we just want to wish you well. Nice I joined Gary and all the folks in college football. Nice to have you back, my friend.
Well, thank you, Brent and Gary, and it's nice to be back. I really enjoy and look forward to it.
All right, ball rolls dead on the 23-yard line. Steve Spurrier, the new head coach of the Gamecocks. And now Virginia Tech will have the ball when we come back. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Virginia Tech with the football. Coming out from 23-yard line here with a 3-point lead in their first possession of the second half against the Canes, who have that familiar 4th down lineman. Randall, and it is complete to Royal to the 28-yard line on first down.
Little thing to look for early in this second half. Jimmy Martin did not start the second half. The injured offensive tackle for Virginia Tech, Reggie Butler, number 61, is in there at a left tackle starting off the second half. Jimmy Martin gave it a try in the first half, but I'm looking over on the sideline. He's standing on the sideline without his helmet on as we open the second half.
Cedric Humes is the running back. Emo again bothered. Linebackers step into the gaps, and he dives to the 30. And this will be 3rd and short. And Gary, let's take a look at our Chrysler passing playbook.
Bud Foster's come up with a little gimmick here. Miami throws to the tight end flanker side, so you're going to see a roll up this way, receiver there, and man-to-man on the backside. That's why on this play, a coverage sack for Brock Berlin. He's confused. The safety comes over, grabs the tight end. You can see it, nowhere to throw the ball. He wants to go to his left flanker side, and Bud Foster's 1 step ahead of him.
Roll is the boundary corner in this 3rd down, matched up against the freshman Morgan, who started his first game as a Hokie here today. Linebackers coming, got him. Loose ball at the 30-yard line. Miami's got it. He was hit by Roger McIntosh from the backside, and it was recovered by Thomas Carroll, the junior from Lakewood, New Jersey.
All those guys did a good job. You get pressure inside, you get a blitz, but I'll tell you what happened outside. Josh Morgan was taken out of his route by Antrell Roll. He jammed Morgan outside. The senior got the freshman, and that's exactly what caused that one. Roll outside, jam the receiver, and inside, a turnover again on a blitz.
Berlin moves in under center. 2 tailbacks as Hill lines up in that fullback spot in front of Gore. They sometimes throw to him out of this formation. Instead, they will run Gore on the draw to the 20-yard line on first down. He picks up 9 yards.
When we talk about where Miami gets the football, usually they get the ball in great position because of their defense. But coming into this game, you can see they started off not one time and they got the ball inside the 20-yard line, 2 times already, and now another one here that they get the ball on the 30. That's 3 times they've had a short field. They've only gotten 7 points, but they got another chance right here.
2nd down and short. Parrish is split out to the right, Moore to the left. They'll run Gore again. First down, 15, looks for daylight to the 12-yard line for Frank Gore. Now let's take a look at the red zone for Miami and what they have produced. Remember now, Virginia Tech, I think, was right about 50%. Gary, you talked about that. And what about?
And here's where it needs to be: at least trips into the red zone, up close 60%. And you know what's really best about here is Brock Berlin in the red zone has not made mistakes this year. We were here a year ago against Tennessee when he had a brutal interception, kind of cost him the game. But inside the red zone this year, Brock Berlin has been almost perfect.
Hill steps up close to the center. Gore will come behind him. Left side, crosses the 10-yard line and out of bounds. Well, we see Frank Gore and we think about him overcoming those 2 injuries, and we asked Coach Coker about how Gore has hung tough with the Miami program.
He's a favorite, and he's a tremendous leader for our football team. Not a vocal leader, but just the what he's been through, how hard he's worked to come back, and what he's doing now.
And unfortunately, this run by Gore is coming back. We mentioned earlier the relationship between Parrish, the wide receiver, and Gore. It is very, very interesting. They were schoolyard chums. They played on the same Pop Warner team, but they were also rivals on that team. So much so that they went to different high schools here in South Florida. But they said to each other that when we finish with high school, we want to go to the same college. They were heavily recruited down here in South Florida. They settled on the Hurricanes, and now they're the best of friends. When they played on that Pop Warner team, that team was known as Ketchup and Mustard. A group of youngsters in tattered jerseys, man. They had the ketchup and the mustard all over it, but you didn't want to play those rascals. I mean, that was some kind of Pop Warner speed then. First down and 20 after the penalty here, and Berlin goes back to the shotgun, and Gore is right to his left. Parrish is the slot receiver, number 1. Movement by that defensive line. Do they get back? He tosses it underneath to the tight end Everett. Sheds a tackle, and he is short of the 15-yard line. Eric Green, who intercepted his first pass of the season, makes the stop. So here in the ACC title game, in effect, with the winner headed for New Orleans in the Nokia Sugar Bowl, where they'll play Auburn or perhaps Tennessee if there's an upset in the SEC championship game tonight. Of course, out in the Big 12, Gary, you and I were in Kansas City, and I dare say that Oklahoma will remember the pounding they took from Kansas State last year.
This is a big injury right here for Miami. They've already lost Greg Olsen, emerging star at tight end, but Everett, the other tight end, gets hit once, comes off of it, and just gets kind of bent across right there. Looked to me like he got hurt even before the last guy get him right there. And Everett, they really can't afford to lose because they're down now to 1 tight end, Buck Ortega.
Now you mentioned Greg Olsen, and he transferred in here from Notre Dame, broke a wrist, has tried to play with it, and has been unable to go. Now, where that really affects Miami, not having Olsen on the field, is in the special teams. He's the long snapper. Now, there is Olsen wearing his jersey on the sideline. You will see the cast over on that left wrist. He tried in practice the other day to see if he could long snap with his right hand, but it simply was not to be.
Yeah, how about this? Miami people think he may be the best tight end they've ever had here. They've had Bubba Franks, Jeremy Shockey, and they think Greg Olsen might be the emerging superstar.
Ortega goes to the right side of the formation. He wears number 15, but he is the tight end on the field now for the Canes. Left tackle on a draw play, and there's the penalty flag.
Play's
the left tackle moved, and that'll cost Miami 5 yards.
Actually, it turns out to be pretty good play for Miami because they lost 5 yards anyway, and they're going to get the down over. Jonathan Lewis was just across the line, and I think this was whistled before the play, so they're not going to have any choice.
Go out to the snap. False start. Offense, 64. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And that's that Eric Winston spot. Rashad Butler filling in for Eric Winston. This offensive line has gone through a lot this year, had to be rebuilt. They thought they'd have to depend on the All-American Winston, who's on the sideline. Again, had that knee injury. Georgia Tech game. They've been without him since.
Second down and 19 for Berlin and the Canes. Jenkins is the short side wide receiver flanked in that direction. Gore on a draw play to the 15-yard line, and it will be 3rd down and long for the Canes, who certainly don't want to give up an opportunity for a tying field goal here, as Jim Davis, who blocked a field goal last week in that Virginia game, makes a stop. He's a senior from Highland Springs, Virginia.
The two defenses are playing exact opposite styles. Miami, when it gets into the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, they blitz and they blitz and they blitz. Virginia Tech keeping their safeties back, a little bit of a gimmick. They're playing combinations, and they're allowing Brock Berlin to set back, but not quite sure what the coverage would be.
First down markers at the 3-yard line. Berlin looks Parrish in the slot. Parrish 10. And he is short of the first down. So this, no doubt, will bring about John Petty. And an attempt to tie the game as he trots onto the field. Now, the snapper here would not have been Olsen, just to continue on that story. Curtis Justice out of Perry, Oklahoma, is the field goal snapper, and he is a story. Justice was a highly recruited tight end, suffered a horrendous leg injury, doesn't run well, took up long snapping. He'll try to put it now in Matt Carter's hands, and Petty will go for the 23-yard tying attempt. And we are deadlocked at 10. 7:59 left in the 3rd quarter. Coker and the Canes draw even. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Konica Minolta, makers of Biz Hub. It's the hub of your business. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of 1st and 10.
Really got a chuckle watching both teams come off after that short drive. Points on the board for Miami after the holding penalty, but Virginia Tech a big stop. Both coaches are clapping. Look at this. Both coaches happy for each side as they come. Good job defense, good job offense. Way to go. Let's stay in this football game. A little forced smile there by Larry Coker, I thought.
High short kickoff. Clowney, the wide receiver who's had a career day, picks it off at the 9-yard line. And Hester couldn't bring him down by the collar, and he makes it to the 27. The BCS standings brought to you by Allstate. Focus in on 4 and 5. Should 2 or 3 voters change their minds, should California have trouble with Southern Miss, Texas would be an automatic selection if they jump to number 4. You'll find out all the answers tomorrow on the Tostitos BCS Selection Sunday show at 5 Eastern time here on ABC. First down and 10 for Randall and the Hokies.
Look at Miami. They just move up and up and up and up closer.
Play fake. Randall under pressure. Deep middle. Overthrew Royal. He was under heavy pressure, and Roll was step for step with Royal. What a good-looking defensive back number 6 is.
Yeah, now Royal says, you know, I beat him, but that's not really beating when you get pressure on the quarterback like that. You get a one step on a corner. Antrell Roll, excuse me, really forces a perfect throw on the play, and you can see it. Virginia Tech right now is saying, listen, we have to throw the ball. They're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're not letting us run. They're forcing us to throw. Let's see if we can do it.
2nd down and 10. Here comes Humes, ridden down by the linebacker Leon Williams. You know, we've talked about Antrell Roll, and I asked him what he needs to work on before he goes to the NFL.
The main thing I have to work on is taking care of my guy and my guy only, because I know it's going to be a system of a one-on-one pretty much. So just knowing my coverages and just knowing my assignment, just taking care of my guy and not trying to do too much.
His father, the police chief down in Homestead. Mom and dad very proud of Antrell Roll. He was involved in an incident where he has been exonerated completely during the summer. He's a fine young man. 3rd down and 11. Randall rolls hard to the left under pressure again, and he's sacked at the 16-yard line. Thomas Carroll in first, pulling him down.
It was a dime look. 6 defensive backs on the field, but it didn't make any difference. Randy Shannon says, I'm coming after you. And the reason is he believes his outside guys. You can see it right there. There comes one. McIntosh comes up the middle. They're bringing 6 people again because they believe that their corners can cover the receivers, young receivers, Virginia Tech. Miami says, we're going to cover you in college.
Then he burns to punt again. He had his second punt of the season blocked in the first half. Hangs one beautifully with his left foot. Angles it on Hester, who lets it go out of bounds. What a terrific punt that is. And Hester he couldn't do anything in that spot that Burns hit. That is a perfect angle punt against a very dangerous return man. We're tied at 10. This for the ACC title.
Guys, it's about a 45-degree swing here in the Orange Bowl versus 1 week ago when the Hokies played at home in Blacksburg. Now, they prepared for it by hydrating their players all week. But when you talk to the Miami Hurricanes, they say that's one of the keys, especially late in the third and all through the fourth quarter. They're used to the heat of Miami.
First down and 10. Jala splits far out to the left now for Berlin and the Canes. Gore, the running back. Gore on a stretch in the backup defensive line, holds its ground, and it will be second down and long. Over on the Miami sideline, wearing the headset and listening to the plays and the different personnel formations, there is a young man by the name of Kirby Freeman. He's a scout team quarterback. He has done a terrific job, and folks around this program tell me that it is not automatic that Kyle Wright will be able to beat him out next year, that it is going to be one of the most spirited quarterback battles they've ever had between Kirby Freeman out of Texas and Kyle Wright from California. Those are the quarterbacks of the future. Freeman being redshirted this year. And a play fake by Berlin, going to drop it underneath. There's a penalty. This one's coming back. Frank Gore to the 45-yard line. But the penalty flag has been thrown, and it'll go against Miami. It's coming back.
I'll tell you, Kevin Lewis, number 7, he's having a brilliant football game. He's a backup player, but he has been dominant. He got held on that play, and he knew it.
Well, a reminder, this is just the beginning of your triple-header here on ABC. USC and UCLA will take you out to the Rose Bowl. Can UCLA do it for pride, or will the Trojans keep on rolling right into the BCS championship game in the FedEx Orange Bowl? We will find out next right here on ABC. And then, of course, later, Kansas City in the Big 12 championship. How about the job Gary Barnett has done with Colorado, overcoming all of the distractions and problems that he faced. Remember, I think he was suspended for a total of 3 months. He's a coach of the year in the Big 12. Hands full tonight for the Buffaloes against that Oklahoma team as we look down from the blimp on our play here. Double reverse. Moss will go nowhere as he's out of bounds. So you got to see a double reverse from high above.
This is such a well-coached football team. Virginia Tech, you don't get outside of them very often. They don't make mistakes. Miami, a couple trick plays have been nothing so far. They know what they're looking at. They expect things. Jimmy Williams, a safety a year ago, just doesn't get fooled. I mean, these guys have been well coached. You know what I attribute that to? Frank Beamer has kept his staff together since that '99 championship team. He's only lost one coach. Ricky Bussell went to be a head coach. All the rest are back.
Third down. Two very deep safeties right now for the Hokies. They're standing back on the 40-yard line. Berlin's in trouble, slips it underneath to Gore. Gore well short of the first down, but they do gain some real estate before they punt. And you mentioned coaches over there. Bud Foster, of course, has redone the Hokie defense, and he's one of the reasons why they have played so well.
Yeah,
Kevin Lewis,
absolutely
doing a great job for him, the senior defensive lineman, and now going back deep is the return man, Richard Johnson. He's a senior from Baltimore.
Kevin Lewis dominated that last series.
Set a return against Monroe. Fair catch, however, at the 22. Man, Jenkins was on top of him. He couldn't even blink. There's so much speed. Well, Monday night now, we'll take you out to Seattle. It'll be the Cowboys and the Seahawks. I guess when you look around, Gary, around the NFC, man, it's a struggle after you get past the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
All the 4 and 7 teams are still thinking they're in the playoff hunt, right? You get St. Louis at 5 and 6, and then a bunch of 4 and 7 still think they're in it.
Seahawks been very disappointing over that last month. It looked like they were going to cruise on in. First down and 10 coming out from the 23-yard line.
Hey, look at this. No blitz.
Humes is the running back to the 25-yard line. Picks up a couple of yards. Let's check in with Jack.
Well, Brendel, earlier this month, Frank Beamer said he was asked by the media to rate his quarterback. He said he's perfect. You got to consider that being amazing. When he arrived in Blacksburg, Brian Randall was less than perfect. In fact, his position coach, Kevin Rogers, said he was better suited to play strong safety. This is the quote that Kevin gave back then. I didn't think he was good enough. But Rogers said he hit the weight room, he improved, he's good enough now.
And here he is on second down and long, changing it up.
He knows what's coming.
They'll run Humes into the teeth. Well, Frank Beamer has done a fabulous job coaching this Virginia Tech team through 18 years. Let's meet him up close and personal.
My favorite movie, Caddyshack. My favorite food, well, prime rib, maybe a ribeye steak. My favorite TV show, I think I'm all right on this one. Thursday night ESPN, we won 9 straight.
No doubt. That would be every
potato guy.
coach's
Thursday night.
Thursday night, man. Lee Corso ever screamed to take his quarterback out? He benches every other quarterback. There comes Randall under pressure. Through just in the nick of time. He felt that heat closing in on him. Orion Harris, big fellow, was coming.
Miami's defense is taking over control of this game. They have decided that the receivers are too young to beat them in the secondary. They bring in their speed. They bring in Devin Hester. They bring in They bring in their nickelbacks, and they blitz Brian Randall. It looks like Virginia Tech is going to have to come up with something different to change this game. Miami's controlling it now.
Hester. Remember that beautiful punt a short time ago by Vinnie Burns.
You start angling them, though, and it gets tougher and tougher. You just miss it by a little bit, and you end up shaking it.
There's the left-footed punt. Hester bobbles it and goes right on top of it. Good recovery by Hester. Didn't try to do anything. Well, we took a close look at Frank Beamer. Let's now turn our attention to the fellow from Oklahoma, Larry Coker.
Best book I've ever read would have to be See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. The football coach I admire most would have to be Bud Wilkinson. My favorite food would have to be Joe Stone Crab. My favorite actor would have to be Jack Nicholson. He's very good at what he does.
Yes, he is. And good plug for, in fact, after we talked to him on television last week, we did a phone interview with him, Virginia Tech. He and his wife they had takeout at Joe's, drove back home and watched the rest of the football on television. He's just a very, very nice man who's done a terrific job. Play fake now, Berlin. High and incomplete. Working underneath was Parrish that time. It went up over Hill, who was jumping, and Berlin on the move.
They were trying to get the ball deep to Lance Leggett, and it wasn't there. Nobody. First down play.
And Moss. He just checked into the game, and he's out.
Jimmy Williams, number 2, is ready for Lance Leggett. They've tried to go deep on first down, nothing there, and Brock Berlin had to try to dump it off under pressure.
If Williams leaves early, and he has another year of eligibility with the Hokies, but if he leaves, he's going to be a very highly drafted corner. He has terrific size. They moved him from safety to the corner spot. The NFL, of course, will measure his speed, but he's been very good today in covering some very talented wideouts.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Bud Foster said, Gary, please don't say a lot of nice things about Jimmy. We need him another year.
Hey, I got news for you, Coach. There's a lot of folks whispering in his ear, okay? It ain't going to be us. Time permitting, of course, the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. And John and the gang, so stay tuned. They'll tell you how Pittsburgh came away with a win, and they will head to probably the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We'll see how everything unfolds tomorrow with the selection shows.
I think Jack's report was right on. Even though it's not, a 90-degree temperature here in Miami, the fact that Virginia Tech has rotated that defensive line, now has Tapp and Burchett fresh. They're ready to go. They got a series off, and now they're ready to go again.
Williams was going to go bump and run on the freshman Leggett. Now he has backed off 12 yards on him. And Berlin's looking in that direction, and he's sacked. No chance. Is he down on the 39-yard line with Jonathan Lewis, one of the Lewis brothers. He and Kevin, and they have both played well. They're out of Richmond. And, man, they've done a great job in that defensive front.
And right in here winning it, but it's been confusion by the quarterback. Brent told you, they call it press bail. The corners come up. I think Brock Berlin thought it was going to be man-to-man press coverage. He looked up, and all of a sudden those corners had bailed out on him. He was confused, and that caused the sack.
3rd down and long. See what kind of a look Williams gives. He's going to just set up deep this time.
They've been rolling to the wide side of the field. They do it again.
And Berlin will fire in underneath. Leggett bobbles it and drops it.
Yep.
The freshman who has blazing speed does not have the greatest of hands that we have watched in practice with Miami.
This was the perfect call. They've been rolling to the wide side. This time Brock Berlin had the square in inside, threw it a little low, could have been caught, bobbled, and clearly hit the ground. Leggett was a high school hurdler. And many believe he could go to the track team and be an elite one here at the collegiate level.
Monroe from Palm Beach Gardens. Back to punt again. Does get it off.
Yeah, he had to short leg it, though, to do it.
Remember now, we told you they're working with a new long snapper, having lost Olsen, and they were very, very concerned about that. Well, great aerial shots of the Orange Bowl today, courtesy of our friends at Outback. Proud sponsor of the Outback Bowl over in Tampa. The Outback Steakhouse Airship, the Bloomin' Onion One, provides aerial coverage for sporting events across the country. The Outback Steakhouse Bowl, our friend Barry Alvarez will take the Wisconsin Badgers in there to play the Georgia Bulldogs. And Jack, what are they saying down below about Moss?
Well, they're still evaluating. Dr. John Uribe, their orthopedic surgeon, looking it over, but for all intents and purposes, Tyrone Moss is out for the rest of the game with an injured left knee.
It looks now like they are going to try a fullback look. That Vatek has struggled so much offensively that Jesse Allen, frequently replaced by one of the tight ends, the sophomore out of Monson, Mass, has now checked into that lineup, and he sets down right in front of Humes. So a little bit of a different wrinkle to see if they can protect Randall. No, they want to throw to Allen right away on 1st down, and he's out of bounds, short of the 20-yard line.
I'll tell you, the Miami defense has been having to deal with a Virginia Tech team that all year has gotten some opportunities inside the 50-yard line and inside the 20-yard line. You see how they've been able to produce when they get it over the 50-yard line? But today they have not got that great field position. You see how Virginia Tech starting at their own 22. They had that one great drive after the interception, but mostly since then it's been backed up.
2 tight ends and 2 wides off to the right. And Humes slashes to daylight. 1st down to the 28-yard line, and Anthony Reddick, their freshman free safety from Fort Lauderdale, makes the stop.
Yeah, he was forced to make the stop because Humes was riding right at him, and Reddick, who played corner in high school and now is a safety, as you see Davis come out, a little bit of a stinger right there. That's been a problem for the Miami linebackers all year. Gooden and McIntosh have had him, but Reddick that time had to take one from Humes.
And Gooden replaces him. Randall steps away from the pressure, breaks free of a tackle into the secondary, and down at the 37-yard line. So Brian Randall, running away from heat, goes 35 yards before Antrell Roll can bring him down. A huge play for the Hokies.
Now you wonder, this was not a quarterback draw. This was tight end out here back in the flat. But when you blitz, there's nobody here again. And if you break one tackle, and he just did break a tackle by Leon Williams, the middle linebacker, all of a sudden, Brian Randall's in the secondary. When you blitz and you don't get the running quarterback, you pay.
The linebacker from Brooklyn could not make the stop. And Humes to the 32-yard line, a strong 1st down run. Deadlocked at 10 here with the final seconds ticking away in the 3rd quarter. Winner of this game will go to a BCS Bowl. Loser will go up to Atlanta. Peach Bowl appointment with Florida.
They're going to let it run out and turn it around, get to the safe side.
Four fingers coming up. But who will the fourth quarter belong to? We'll find out after this message and a word from our ABC stations. A game dominated by defense here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Virginia Tech and the Hurricanes. Second down for the Hokies as we start the money quarter. Humes crossing the 30-yard line, but short of the first down. The Pontiac high performance scoring summary here. We've had a pair of touchdowns after an interception in the end zone. The Hokies go 80 yards for their touchdown. Then after Brock's fumble, they went 44 yards with the field goal. A blocked punt led to a 14-yard Miami touchdown, and then it was a Randall fumble leading to the field goal. So turnovers have been huge so far. Randall firing underneath beautifully to King. So there is the first down as he slips it into his tight end hands. You know, one of the things that impresses you, and so many teams have come down here to Miami, and for whatever reason they've had stage fright. Not this Virginia Tech team. I mean, they've gone nose to nose here.
No, and you know, coming off a very emotional game with Virginia last week, to redial up and play this game, you can tell it's a well-coached team who believes in himself. And you know, I think that thing you talked about early in our open, that ACC champ sign that Miami tried to use, I think that's working in Virginia Tech's favor right now. They have really challenged themselves and stepped up to it. You know, you slap somebody in the face, you say, okay, put up now, let's do it.
Interesting.
Eddie Royal on that last play, Brent, was wide open. Talking about that sign.
There it is. They held it up on the sideline. And it has been all over the newspapers here in South Florida, up on the internet. And like Gary says so far, the Hokies are going nose to nose with favored Miami in this game. Randall's hit backside. Incomplete. Reddick was on the blitz. Reddick, who has blocked the punt.
Tried to go to a stutter, but coming right around here, nothing fancy. They've been doing it all game. Was not picked up. You see it, blocked inside out. That's as much time as you're going to have. I thought the shotgun snap, Brent, was slow that time. It was a pop-up and didn't give Brian Randall a lot of time to get a hold of that ball. That might have caused that sack.
A new return man checks in for Miami now.
And remember, Virginia Tech has a fake.
And that is Parrish, who is back deep. Roscoe Parrish is back deep.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Oh, man, what about
there.
hang time here? He won't even make a crack at that. It'll be caught at the 6-yard line. He drops down another one. And Vinnie Burns had one blocked, but other than that, he's been one of the better punters that we've watched. Again, his father, a member of the Sugar Bowl committee in New Orleans. He's here today. He did dearly love to welcome his son to Bourbon Street. And there is Big Daddy getting ready to play Santa Claus on Christmas Day. And won't he enjoy meeting his former teammate Kobe Bryant? Will be coming down. What a warm gathering that'll be on Christmas Day. First down and 10 for Brock Berlin and the Canes. Everett, we noted during the commercial break, has taken his pads off. He's done for the game. Gore trips up to the 9-yard line. Looked like a shoulder being iced down on the sideline. And that means that Ortega will continue to be the tight end. There is Everett. And Gary, this could be a huge factor here.
Yeah, you lose both of your playmaking tight ends. Keeps you out of a lot of 2 tight end formations. They have brought in another guy. It moved, I think what they've done is moved one of their tackles and gave him a tight end number and moved him over. I think that's Seaball.
Brandon Seaball.
Yes,
he now is at 86.
But he is a tackle.
And he's lined up on the left side of the offense as Gore goes in behind him to the 11-yard line. And Frank Gore, you've got to admire his courage, Jack.
Well, Brent, we've documented the fact that he's come back, battled back from 2 devastating knee injuries. But if you notice the number that he has on his jersey this year, not the same one. The number 3 harkens back to his high school days. He said, I had to get back to basics. I wanted to prove to myself that I was as good as I was in high school. So he said, you know what? I'm going to go back in time and return to my roots. Ergo, number 3 is in the backfield in 2004.
Sebald left, and the coaches congratulated him for that lead block. And Gore slips the tackle, and not much blocking there as the Hokies blow that play up. Jim Davis, the senior from Highland Springs, Virginia, leads the way. We've had only 3 first downs this half as these 2 defenses have taken over completely, and now we will see if Monroe can punt out of his own end zone for Miami.
And that's why I believe the quarterbacks have to make the play. These defenses are too good. You saw Brian Randall. He did it with his legs. Can Brock Berlin do it with his arms? Because the defenses are teeing off.
The last punt was close to being blocked. This one he nails. Here's Royal at the 43-yard line. Got midfield. And crosses the 40. The freshman makes a powerful return. And a short field coming up here for the Hokies in the 4th quarter. A key moment in this football game right now.
Boy, that was so nice by Virginia Tech. The punt return was set up beautifully with a picket fence.
Deadlocked at 10. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. The new Singular, raising the bar. And AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. And First and 10, if you're a Hokie fan, is very promising here, Gary.
First time they've got the ball and started a series in plus territory all the game. Last week against Virginia, they scored with it.
Play fake to Humes. Randall with plenty of time. Fires Royals. Got it. 10-5. Touchdown. Hokies leading. Beautiful play fake to start it. Then the 39-yard pitch, catch, and run by the freshman.
Same formula they used against Virginia. They get the ball in plus territory. They come across and a perfect throw. Watch Royal. He comes from behind the receiver. They get the play action pass. That gives them the time. And look at that strike. A strike against Antrell Roll, excuse me. Perfect throw. That's what I talk about. When you put him there, not even the best coverage can stop it.
Lance Goff puts it down, and it's blocked. Brandon Pace's extra point is blocked, and Frank Beamer can't believe it as Orion Harris, the junior defensive tackle, blocks the extra point. And how big is that right now? With 11:29 to go, we're sitting on a 6 because of this block. The second block kick of the game as Big Harris just blew through the middle that time.
Came right between the center guard gap, came right inside. James Miller had him, but not enough.
Well, I'll tell you, the special teams coach for Virginia Tech, he's really going to catch heck from the head coach. So wait a minute, same guy. Timeout. We're sitting on a 6. And there are pleasures of coming to school in South Florida, all right, as we welcome you back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Canes down 6, about ready to receive the kickoff here. DeVelli.
I wonder if they don't put Brock Berlin
Hester
back in shotgun now.
Low line drive. Big hop to number 4. Here he comes. Hester looking alley. Cutback penalty flag has been thrown. Could be a push in the back. Could be a push in the back about like the 26-yard line on this Hester return.
Penalty markers are down.
Penalties have hurt Miami today. 2 inside the red zone that cost them points, and now this one, great field position.
Well, coming up next, of course, we'll take you out to the Rose Bowl, and USC a win away from playing for the national championship against UCLA. Gary, we've heard Norm Chow's name. Let's see. Utah's head coaching job has opened up. Washington has opened up. Stanford, the offensive coordinator for Pete Carroll at USC, may finally get an opportunity, and a good one, to become a head coach. I think he's the highest salaried assistant coach in college football.
Good for him. Norm Chow, years at BYU, said, I have to leave my beloved BYU to give it a real chance to be a head coach. Went over there to NC State with Phillip Rivers, and now, of course, at USC.
He could wind up with 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks under him at USC. What a terrific job by Chow as the pass comes in underneath to Hill, and he battles on out to the 26-yard line on first down.
That's what I thought would happen. Now you're going to see Brock Berlin, Steve Spurrier, he comes back after 2 years, and he says the same thing we've been saying for a long time. Brock Berlin, more comfortable in the shotgun. He's coming out again, 17 points down to Louisville. He brought him back late against Florida State.
Leggett, Jenkins, Parrish are his wideouts. This is Parrish. Reverses his field out of bounds with a first down, and we have 10:40 to go. The missed extra point looming so huge in this game right now.
The tough thing now with this shotgun hurry up, it's not quite 2 minute yet, but it's very difficult to substitute against this formation and get fresh guys in. Virginia Tech has their second defensive line in to rush the passer. So far, no pressure.
And Miami kept the same personnel on the field. Williams goes nose to nose with the freshman toward the bottom of your screen. Berlin looks the other direction, goes deep down the sideline, incomplete. Jenkins was the receiver. The corner on that other side was Roland Minor, a redshirt freshman out of the Washington area. We've got a penalty flag.
Miami again. It is brutal. That's a 7th penalty on them, and I think 5 of them have been majors.
Offensive pass interference.
Must have been inside on the tight end coming off on a linebacker. It was not on the ball where it was thrown.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 15.
Yep.
15 yards.
That's Ortega.
First down.
He is the tight end.
Yep.
And again, we go back to what we said, how important that is to this game with Kevin Everett being lost as the Miami tight end.
Let's see if that's what happens right there. Number 15 coming off the line of scrimmage. Does he try? He's right there, right in the middle, right there. There's the play. Comes. Boy, that's weak. That is weak.
They must have called the initial contact when he ran into him is what they.
You're allowed to jam within 5 yards. So that's a weak call. That's a weak call right there.
And as the result, it's going to be a first down and 25. First and 25 for the Canes. Lots of time left in this game.
And they're going man-to-man down here, and all the coverage is to the top. A gimmick defense for Bud Foster.
Screen. Here's Gore. And Williams upends him at the 22, and Williams has played a sensational game on that corner.
Jimmy Williams on that play recognized it very quickly, kind of jabbed the offensive lineman coming out, ducked inside, and got Gore. Beautiful play.
Berlin away from the pressure. The DB trips him up. Beautiful shoe top tackle by number 11, Xavier Adibi, a redshirt freshman from Hampton, Virginia, with a sensational upside.
Adibi was huge in the Virginia game, but it was very simple football. Run right at you, mano-a-mano. A little different this game. He hasn't had as many snaps.
Third down, it's still Leggett, Parrish, and now Moss. Centerus Moss is the third wideout. Berlin flushed out of the pocket and throws it away, and Miami is forced to punt. So the Va-Tech defense does another outstanding job.
And I'll tell you why. Jimmy Williams is going to do it. Now watch. Man-to-man here, and then everybody else play zone to this side. Watch this guy. He never even moves. They go man-to-man on one guy, and they play robber right in the middle of the field and say, you either throw to Jimmy Williams, or if you throw to the wide side of the field, there's nothing there. Bud Foster has found something, and he's using it.
Monroe gets it away. Big bounce to Royal. He'll pick it up. Takes a dip. Hester brings him down at the 19-yard line, inside the 20. Royal, with that great speed, thought he could outrun him, but he didn't reckon with the other number 4 as we check in with Jack Arute.
Well, Brent, I thought it'd be interesting in this edition of Away from the Field to compare the two universities and how they affect the area that they're located. Blacksburg, Virginia, you can see 63.2% of the population are students. Here in the Miami area, the University of Miami, just 0.6%. That's 0.6%. A lot more to do in Miami, I guess, than Blacksburg.
Yes, indeed, partner. First down and 10. Ball inside the 20-yard line. Humes to the middle. Bolts free on first down. To the 49-yard line. Kelly Jennings stops him after a 29-yard burst. The Cane defense lets him out.
Watch Will Montgomery, the big center, comes out and gets Leon Williams, gets up tight. You run up the middle, the center has to do the job, and we know what Will Montgomery did a week ago. He had the block to win the football game. He got 2 of them. He goes off on one, does a little spinner, and gets Brooks, and that was the winning touchdown by the center Montgomery.
First down and 10. Here's Humes again, short of midfield. When you take a look at the numbers, offensive numbers right now, Virginia Tech with 270 yards, 100 yards more than Miami. It's 270 to 169. And now when you talk about penalties, 4 penalties against Virginia Tech for 20 yards, 8 against Miami for 75 yards. The Canes have been limited to 51 yards rushing, and a little frustration over there on the sideline as Humes has now hit him with 100 yards, and it is second down. Here comes Humes again. He could be just a touch tired. And that great rivalry underway. And John, what's going on with Army-Navy? Navy favored.
Brent, Navy favored and acting that way. Josh Smith, I mean, there are gifts you get from a quarterback. This one you couldn't ask for. Right into his hands, and nothing but clear sailing for 67 yards and a touchdown as Navy scores their 3rd touchdown of the day. And right now, lead Army 21-0. Brent.
All right, John, and here it's 16-10. Hokies lead Miami. And Beamer ran all the way over to the linesman to call that timeout. Beamer saw what was happening. He saw the fact that David Clowney was confused running around on the field, and it was Beamer. This year the coaches can call timeouts on the sideline, and Frank did just that.
I wish we could play in there.
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on, let's play. Not bad. A couple rookies.
Hey, where are you going?
Gotta go. See ya.
A tradition of excellence, then, now, and always.
So we are back, and you took another look at what has put Virginia Tech ahead. That beautiful catch and run by the freshman Eddie Royal out of Herndon, Virginia. He was one of the players of the year in high school football, and it was a big coup for Tech to beat several other schools and recruit him. His sister is a student at Blacksburg, and she wanted a little brother to come there and play, and I think that was probably one of the factors also. Third down now for Randall and the Hokies. Clowney is on the right side of the formation. Comes in motion. Under pressure, throws incomplete. Randall might have pulled the trigger just a hair too soon that time, but the Canes were coming in hard.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. You're right. I mean, that ball could have been completed, but it's not like he had a lot of time, and it looked like it might have been deflected because he had pressure right in his face. He knew he had one-on-one, but one-on-one without time to throw doesn't give you any help.
Parrish standing back by the 10-yard line with Vinnie Burns, who's had one blocked here today. Parrish has replaced Hester. Did a great job against Virginia as a return man.
And Humes is not in there either now.
Line drive. Parrish has got it. Slips a tackle. Going to try to reverse the field. Now cut up. And Hall all over the top of him at the 12-yard line where it'll be first down.
And it's great special teams.
So if the Canes are going to do it, they're going to have to do it the hard way against a tough Hokie D. We'll be right back. Brent Musburger here with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. 7:02 left in the fourth quarter. Miami has staged 2 fourth-quarter comebacks. The first one against Florida State in their season opener, and later in a night game against Louisville, both coming here in the Orange Bowl. Now they have 7 minutes to work with. They're down by 6 points against a tough Virginia Tech team. In underneath to Moore, who's back on the field, and he's short of the 20-yard line on that first down. So Ryan Moore, the sophomore for Orlando, up with the catch. And he's been on the bench for some time now.
Miami, with the loss of the tight ends, are really forced into this formation now. The clock against them. Brock Berlin, this is his favorite formation. Haven't been able to run the ball at all against this defense. The DB right here, he's coming.
Throwing all the time to Ortega for the first down. The Canes are across the 25-yard line. The freshman Leggett has gone to the sideline for the time being. He was in on a lot of snaps, but now they've got more experience, more out there using Jenkins, Moss. He's also on the field. There you see Leggett, number 9. So it's first down and 10. Protection holds. Brock floats one, incomplete, dangerous. Jenkins was the intended receiver, and Roland Minor was on him. And now it is time for the Pacific Life game summary here. The touchdown catch by the tight end, one of 3 tight ends on the field on that play. Then Moss carrying the load. Carried it 5 straight times, picking up the Canes touchdown in this game. Then it was Royal, slipping roll, and into the end zone. And Orion Harris with one hand blocking the extra point. And that's where we stand right now at 16-10 and second down and 10 coming up for Berlin and the Canes. And a timeout, I believe, has been called here.
They only have 10 men on the field. That's
called
why.
by Miami.
Yep, 10 men out there. They made a mistake, and they were forced to use a timeout. Too important of a play. Moss wasn't out there.
And we check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brent, we took care of the signature series, signature play for Miami. What about Virginia Tech? Well, they say you got to go all the way back to 1998. Remember Ricky Hall's catch in overtime? It was so important because they beat Miami 27-20 right here in the Orange Bowl. And victories for Tech in the Orange Bowl are hard to come by.
Yeah, hard to come by anybody, I think. Coker himself has only lost a couple of games here in the Orange Bowl.
Very difficult to throw the deep ball to the wide side of the field. Virginia Tech is rolling over the top of the receiver to the wide side. You're just going to have to go at Jimmy Williams. Put your best guy over there. It's man-to-man. You recruited all these great athletes. Go after them. Run a comeback on them. Run a slant on them. Run a post on them. You cannot throw to that wide side over and over again.
Highlighting what Jack told you, 2-9 the Hokies are, but they've got a 6-point lead here with 6 minutes to go. And a second down and 10 right now for Berlin and the Canes. Jala is off to the right, number 80. Parrish and Moss, the wideouts. Gore is the running back. This will be Parrish on that flanker screen. And Ortega couldn't do anything for him over here. This is where they really missed their 2 tight ends. With Everett and Olsen out. And now Ortega, the third fella down in there, to set that play is really becoming difficult for Miami.
Well, that strategy on that play is really difficult to understand. You throw the screen to the wide side right into the teeth of the defense for Virginia Tech. They've got 6 defensive backs to the wide receiver side. Jimmy Williams man-to-man on the bottom.
Berlin steps away, deflected, incomplete. Stepped away from the pressure, but the forward pass was deflected, and Ellis in there defensively for the Hokies.
Right now, Brian Randall should be telling his offense, we make 2 first downs, we can win this football game. Let's not force our defense back on the football game. You're looking at Ellis that got his hand on that one. But if we can win it ourselves, that offensive line.
Now the Hokies need to avoid the mistake. 5.5 minutes, up by 6. Royal lets it go, and Johnson, the veteran, and he is down at the 39-yard line. We check in with John in New York. John?
Brent, time for our singular player of the year nominees. Will it be quarterback Jason White of Oklahoma, Cedric Benson, Texas, Alex Smith of Utah, Adrian Peterson from Oklahoma, or Matt Leinart of the USC? To vote, text the word player to 64444 or log on to ESPN.com, keyword singular. Brent, vote a lot.
Yeah, John, I want to vote for the personality of the year in college football. I want to vote for Urban Meyer. No one affected things the way the Utah coach did this year. Huge trips up to the 44-yard line, of course, time permitting. John and the gang will have highlights from that Pittsburgh game. They'll set the stage for USC UCLA.
You know, Brent, you made a point earlier. It looks like Humes is a little tired. That's really where the injury to Emo early might affect the end of this game. Without being able to go to Emo, Humes has had to take a lot of plays in this football game. He looks a little tired to me.
Miami has a couple of timeouts remaining. This is 2nd down. Here is Humes. Terrific run across midfield for a first down. Clock stops in the college game on that first down. A very, very powerful run that time by Humes, who's doing a sensational job.
Yeah,
here.
these guys right here are now trying to make a statement. You see the 2 tight ends in there? Tight end pushes it out, and Humes just drags him forward and falls across. If you were going to ask the Virginia Tech people who was going to step in for Kevin Jones, the All-American first-round draft pick that left, they would have said we thought it was Cedric Humes. He got injured, but now he's healthy, and he's really looking like the load they expected him to be.
Now here the comfort zone is the senior quarterback. He's been in these situations before, working on the clock, handing off to Humes, keeping it right in the middle now. And Beamer and his staff just bringing the seconds on down. And these beautiful views of Miami being provided by the Outback Steakhouse Airship. The Bloomin' Onion won. That's Captain Mitch Johnson up there. He's at the controls today, high above the Miami area. You look around.
Really got to play that play clock now if you're Brian Randall. You got to take it all the way down to 2-3 seconds max. You want to bleed off every second you can.
They're going to throw it. Incomplete, intended for Clowney, and Jennings was all over him that time. Terrific coverage by number 22. Let's go back and update the out of whack stat. I mean, you know, we came in raving about Beamer ball, right? And that's such a big part of it. And yet Virginia Tech leads. So go figure.
Brent, without the block punt and the extra point, this game is over. Virginia Tech has controlled the football game. Miami so far less than 200 yards in total offense. Third down has been brutal for both sides.
So the team picked no higher than 6th in the ACC by the media is now closing in on a championship. Its first year in a conference, and there's a penalty marker thrown on that far side as we approach the 3-minute mark now.
Boy, Brian Randall, it was no slide available. See the Miami players
probably a wide receiver holding on the play downfield when that happens. But Brian Randall sold it out that time. 3 minutes to go in the season. He wasn't going to slide. Yeah, holding, usually a wide receiver. Oh, that was big because that takes another 2 minutes or 2 timeouts off.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still third down.
Before this one heats up, let me thank the folks who have helped us all year long. The executive producer, ABC Sports. His mom lives down here in this area. Saw him. It's nice to have Mike Pearl with us. The senior producer up in New York of ABC Sports, Bob Toms. The coordinating producer working in the truck, Bobby Goodrich. Our director, Steve, the Trojan Vine. Nobody loves USC any better than Steve. Third down and 10. Randall brings the Hokies up to the line of scrimmage. Play fake. Reaching by the tight end. King's got it. Great pair of hands. And it's a first for the Hokies as King moves the chains as they cross the 40-yard line.
You can't do it any better than this. You throw it to the only spot your guy can get it. A big tight end on the safety. Watch him lay out. That is a wonderful play. You throw it out there. Only your guy can get it on the fingertips. He juggles it and he makes the catch. That is a game potential winning catch for the tight end, Jeff King. What a play. And picked up the first down on 3rd and 10.
First down and 10. Humes trips up for a couple of yards.
Well, we talked about what the keys of this football game would be. Call the G's keys. I said it was going to be the rushing game. Which team could do it? That might be the tipping point right there. Kind of a wash on 4th down, except for the 2 blocks. You can see the touchdown by Eddie Royal, the catch and run for the touchdown. The rushing game, though, has been the big difference.
Well, Jack, the lunch pail going to change hands today, my friend?
No, the lunch pail won't change hands, but there's something new that'll go in the lunch pail. You see, Darryl Tapp has had it since the beginning of the season, but inside the lunch pail on road games, the team will take some of the turf from key victories. You can guarantee that this is one of the key victories. But I thought you might be interested. How do they get these lunch pails? I was asking the coaching staff about it. They retire them each year. They're donated by fans that send them in. These are true working man's lunch pails.
All right, Jack, and we asked Tapp about the famed lunch pail in Blacksburg.
I took possession of the lunch pail in June, and you got to come through me to get it.
And that would not be easy going through number 55 to get that lunch pail, let me tell you, folks.
What a football player. He back-to-back games, he has come and played and been really, really a load on every play. Inside run, outside run, pass or screen. He's been ready to go. Miami is forced to take one of their timeouts. They've only got one left. Remember, they had to take that timeout when they only had 10 men on the field when they had the ball last time.
2:20 left in the game. And Brian Randall handing off to Humes, and Humes is ganged up on. So now it'll be 3rd down and a long. And the question would be, where does Frank Beamer need to go to get a field goal? They're going to call a timeout and talk about this. And let me finish thanking some folks who have done a great job this year for us. Our TD, Randy Hargrove. Thanks, Randy. And the associate producer, Will O'Toole. And our associate director, Brian the Wildcat Fay. And our production assistants, well, Jay Bird and Aflac, outstanding. Giuliani Barbieri and Dan Bard. Our production managers, Christy Bravey. Our technical manager, Mark Towie. Computer stats, Craig Rothberg. Booth stats, George Hill over here. He'll head out to the Great Northwest. Home game for him, Seattle, Dallas. The spotter, the Move Man himself, Brian Movelson, and our scoreboard operator, Jason Polstein. Jason's a pretty good handicapper. You know that?
I was gonna say. Here's a real strategic play here for Frank Beamer. He's got to first think about how far does he got to get for a field goal. Okay, you see, he got to get to the blue line for a career field goal, and that kind of ices the game. The next thing he has to think about is Miami is out of timeouts. Do I risk a throw and stop the clock? Do I let it go out and trust Brian Randall? What goes through your mind here? I think he's probably going to go with quarterback draw. What do you think, my friend?
You know, they really use the quarterback draw a lot against Virginia.
Yeah.
for some reason, they must feel that they've tried it against Miami.
Well,
But
they
it would be
blitz
an
them.
interesting
Yep.
call. You might pick up some yards, get close enough for the field goal. Randall, one of the game-turning runs
Absolutely.
was Randall's big run in this game.
Just don't think they're going to throw it this time.
They're going to put number 3 back in the gun. Humes right alongside him. They're going to hand to Humes, and they took a loss on the play. Negative yardage and a big play for Miami that time. Thomas Carroll, number 90, the big junior, and it's a 6-yard loss, Gary.
Really, if you're not going to make the first down, Brent, they weren't in field goal range. I think it's no big deal if you lose yards or not. They were going to punt anyway. If you don't make the first down, the clock runs out. They were going to punt the ball.
What about throwing it back to Big King?
After
the fact, I got all the plays.
Yeah, I just think that the clock, right? They're going to let it run down. They're not even going to snap it here either. They're going to use all the clock and give Brock Berlin, who's done it before, the ball back one more time.
So they'll bring it down now. The game clock moving down too. There's the penalty, and so while we have a moment, we will tell you our Chevrolet players, and it really was not easy with Virginia Tech. I must tell you that there are several outstanding candidates on that Hokie team, but Brian Randall and all he's meant to the program and everything, you can't say enough about Brian, who hung in there despite a quarterback controversy. He's our MVP, and he's 11 of 18, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Anthony Riddick, of course, he blocked that punt, set up the touchdown for the Canes, and in recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
A little risky on that Miami one, though. You know, he did do that, but Orion Harris and Brock Berlin, that blocked extra point, and Berlin getting the ball back.
Here's that high punt now. Being fielded by Hester. They've got him back on the field, and he gives up yards back to the 10-yard line. So here it is for Brock Berlin. The ACC title is on the line and a trip to a BCS Bowl. His last series probably in the Orange Bowl. He'll bring him out. He's had an interception in the end zone, thrown for 131 yards. Humphrey and Parrish have been his leading receivers, but he does not have a receiver with 50 yards in this game. The fullback with 42 is his leading receiver. And folks, that is not Miami Hurricane football.
No, Brock Berlin has been neutralized. There's no doubt about it. He's got one more shot, though, and it's very reminiscent to me of this Florida State game when Florida State knocked Miami all over the field, but one last drive.
Moss is to the right. Brock comes in underneath. Puts it in Moss's hands. Moss sprints now out of bounds at that 20-yard line, just short of a first down.
And that was so important because Moss was not going to get the first down on the play. He got out of bounds to stop the clock. Second and short, very good, stop the clock. He ran around Jimmy Anderson that time, the outside linebacker, and that got him the opportunity to stop that clock.
The Canes out of timeouts. They can stop it with a first down. Off his chest on the ricochet. Deflected, incomplete. But it was botched when he did not handle the snap cleanly. It'll be second down and check that. It'll be third down and short as Jimmy Davis is in on him.
Sometimes you get your eyes downfield a little bit too much. You just take that for granted. And then coming around the outside, a little bit of attack, and Burchett gets him.
This is a tough call here.
Oh, was it Jim Davis? I'm sorry.
They've got to have the first down here.
Yep.
Of course, it's 4-down situation now with a minute to go, but they need a couple of yards here.
The draws have not worked well against this Virginia Tech defense either.
Deflected again, and that defensive front led by Big Jim Davis. What a series he's having defensively.
You know what Jim Davis said before this game? Because he missed all of last year. He said, I've got my butt kicked twice by these guys. I want to finish off beating them. And Davis, look at that outside rush, and gets back-to-back plays.
Here's your ball game, fourth down.
Jimmy Williams so loose out there.
59 seconds. Canes have got to have the first down. Deflected, incomplete.
Wow.
That'll do it. Virginia Tech, in its first year, is going to represent the ACC in the BCS Bowl. And in that time was Darryl Tapp, number 55, whose brother is serving this country, probably listening to the game on the internet over in Baghdad. Hold on, we got a penalty here. Hold on here.
It's probably going to be celebration penalty.
They'll take it.
Yeah, they will.
You know that's what that is. They'll take that in a heartbeat.
Tapp off the corner that time. Got up in the air. He anticipated a short throw, and he timed it perfectly.
After the play was over, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct, 76, Virginia Tech. First down.
Probably would have a taunting play, but you know what? Tapp coming off the corner saved the day for a guy who had a sign up.
And will he race back over there and grab that sign again? Is it over there on that sideline? Remember, Miami used it as motivation.
He had the
and
Tim Russert easel. He wrote ACC champs on it. What a play by Tapp. 3 straight deflected passes by the Virginia Tech defensive line. They won the football game for him.
And Virginia Tech will head to New Orleans. And the Nokia Sugar Bowl, in all likelihood, everything becomes official tomorrow. Vinnie Burns' Papa will be down inside that locker room.
How
He's
about
on the Sugar Bowl committee. And, of course, how about the fact that now Miami must get ready for Florida. That's right. They'll play Florida in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. You got another rivalry game up there. They're in the Miami Hurricane Bowl game. And I'll let the celebration begin, folks. They're going back to Blacksburg as champions of the ACC. They came in here and took it away from favored Miami. There was no doubt about it. It was a terrific effort.
It absolutely was. They dominated the ball game and they shut out Brock Berlin. That was it. And there's Griffin.
And let's check in with Jack and Coach.
Well, Coach, congratulations. ACC champions.
Wow. You know, it says a lot about our players, our coaches. You know, several times today when things didn't look good, they had the ball inside our 33 times on a block kick, a couple fumbles.
Have you ever won a game where you've had Beamer ball turned on you the way they did?
They did. You know, they got great players. So, and I'm going to tell you, this is a really well-coached football team, this Miami team. So we're pleased to come out here with a win.
Defense was great. Offense was effective. Special teams were good with a couple of miscues. Can you guys get any better by the time you get to the Sugar Bowl?
Well, I think so. You know, we're a real young football team, and we got some time to practice, and I see this football team getting a little bit better all the time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Jack, and congratulations to Frank Beamer and his staff. Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator. Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator. That's going to wrap it up for us. The Hokies have won the ACC, and we send you to John and the gang in New York. John, there's upset number 1 for you, my friend.